I don't like the optics of this episode. Why? Am I a man ranking women? This
I
is.
mean,
I've just
you don't need to
realized.
be here.
Well,
Understand. I still don't get why any of you, both of you, are here. That's my point.
As a man, I should be here.
Why?
So that's contradicting your discomfort. Then you should be comfortable being here.
It's just this burden of manhood sometimes feels a lot. I understand, but it's just I have to do it as a man. Angela, you're weak.
Sorry, you're talking about the burden of a man. Yeah,
so hard being a man. Okay, are you guys ready to
really
record?
Funny. Sure.
Yes, sir.
Hello and welcome back to the Popcorn for Dinner podcast, and welcome to this family gathering. We are talking about Bad Sisters today, guys. First time, hopefully, for ahead of a long and fun season. We're going to be previewing season 2 of Bad Sisters while also talking about season 1, and we're going to be ranking the sisters from Bad Sisters. Should be fun. And joining me today, guys, please don't call them mammies. It's Angel and Ayisha. How you guys doing?
That made me sick.
That was the intention.
Happy to be here. Talk shit.
Yeah, it's great to be back talking about Bad Sisters.
Yeah.
This is a random question that I should have asked you before going in. Ayisha, I know you're thinking. Angel, do you have sisters?
I actually don't. I only have a brother.
Oh, that's nice. How lucky.
Ayisha, would you kill for your sister?
Absolutely not. I would kill my sister, but I wouldn't kill for my sister.
Crazy and insane statement. You should stop saying on air. This is a permanent record.
I wouldn't kill for my sister, and she knows it. My sister once said to me that she wouldn't put me as her emergency contact because she knows I wouldn't pick up the phone if she were dying. So
that's a strong indictment on you that you should not be repeating in public.
No, not necessarily involuntary manslaughter or whatever they call it. It's just that I'm always on D&D, so I wouldn't pick up the phone.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
That's a nice way to think of it to yourself. Angel, would you kill for your brother?
Yeah, honestly. But I would also kill him.
Is he your younger brother?
We need to stop adding that second part.
He's like my
That's
baby.
Why.
He's like 7 years younger. So
that's why.
Yeah, honestly, that is why. Yeah.
Oh, must be nice.
Is it?
Let's talk about Bad Sisters, guys. Admin, like I said, we're going to be covering Bad Sisters every 2 episodes this season. Ayisha and Angel will be there throughout the season. Maybe and I will chime in with our manly thoughts because it's needed. So yes, we'll start with the the 2 episode premiere on the 13th, followed by every 2 weeks, all the way up to December 25th, the finale. Again, if you like what you're listening to, please subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to this. Follow on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow on podcast platforms. And if you have some spare change, you can donate to our running costs. The link is in the description. Buy us a coffee. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to rank the sisters, like I said, and then we'll talk about our thoughts on season 2. But before all of that, I just want to talk about John Paul, who I have several times on this podcast called the greatest TV villain ever created.
Genuinely.
The first time you watched the show, Angel, what was your takeaway from John Paul as a character?
My takeaway was, honestly, he's awful. But I was like, there has to be a reason. He must have experienced some kind of trauma, or this is me in episode 1. I'm like, they're going to show us some good sides to John Paul. He's married, he has a daughter. Something must have shaken right there. Very wrong. That man is objectionably awful. There's nothing good to say about him. He's fucked up. Yes, he knows it. And he fucks other people up. He enjoys it. So he's a masochist, a sadist. A sociopath? Yeah. Yeah.
Aisha,
My
did you
thoughts.
think there was ever a redeeming quality to John Paul?
No.
Do you, are you, how do I put this? Do you think it's a bad thing that there was no redeeming quality to John Paul?
No.
Mm-mm.
I was thinking about John Paul when I was rewatching this season, and because the thing about him, I discussed this with him when season one came out, I think someone, one of the podcast episodes, is that he just keeps getting worse. And on rewatch, I forgot both how terrible he is and also how funny he is. Like,
He's very
so
funny, yeah.
the way he says some things, and you're just like, how are you a human being? And from a writing perspective, I think they were able to go so far with him because from the jump we know he's dead.
Mm.
So it's never a thing like. I think if this story was told linearly in chronological order, it would feel like too mustache twirling, too cartoonish of a villain, because you're like, oh, this is not realistic. But I think because we know he dies, we know he gets what he deserves, they can go really out there with him because some of the things he does are really out there. What do you think is the worst thing he does out of all the things to the sisters, excluding what he does to Eva, because that's like objectively the
That's
worst thing.
what I was gonna say. Like
Yeah,
that
I
was
forgot about that on rewatch.
same. I started thinking, I was like,
I forgot that was a thing that happened.
yeah, that's the worst thing he does.
Yeah, so excluding what he did to Eva, what do you think is the worst thing he did? Do you guys have?
I think BB, that was
Mm,
objectively not great.
that was terrible.
I mean, I guess BB has the worst end result, but for me, I have it as Ursula.
Honestly, I was debating between Ursula and what he did to Becca because Becca, like, to leave her with that much debt, like, is
Oh, this
just
man is terrible.
is
So many.
unreal.
This man is so
But
terrible.
then what he did to Ursula crosses so many like legal and social boundaries. It's not even funny.
Yeah, I
Like,
think the BB one is like terrible. And we're going, obviously,
yeah,
for somebody, if you somehow haven't watched Bad Sisters and you don't know what we're talking about, we're going to like get through all the details as we go through the sister characters. Don't worry. But BB one is terrible. But like, it's still, like, you can say the reason it happened was because he was being playful and being like rough. I'm not absorbing of any crime, right? But like the Ursula one is like everything is so intentional every step of the way. Like he knows what he's doing when he changes the number to his
like
name, when he
ugh.
takes the picture, when he gets the like it's just
Plus, I
yeah.
feel like Big B got her lick back because he has that soft spot in his head too. So whatever he was trying to do to scare her, she said we're going down together. So
We're
that
actually
was
going
literally
down.
actual destruction there. And he has that soft spot I mentioned. So she at least got something on him. Ursula and Becca's one is I won't say mild, but Ursula, she kind of put herself in that in that I don't say that zone. I don't say that zone
Be careful.
because by saying like not because of what he did, but her having that extracurricular activity gave John Paul ammo. So he's just like, this is bad. Actually, I've never found out about this. I can use this.
John
But
Paul.
Becca is like, he was just straight up like he lied, and not only that, he got Grace to be the one to tell her, like, oh no, he didn't say that, babes. Like, are
Such
you
a
kidding
great
me?
man. Such a great man.
The
Like
levels to his
is like
manipulation.
he's so good. Like this is
He needs to teach a
um
masterclass.
as I just like I could not believe that. I mean, props to Sharon Hogan and the creative team. Like when I was watching, I could not believe that they never took a turn to like try and redeem him. Like they just kept on
Not
going in and
once.
in and in. And I was like, oh, it's so bold and so interesting. Like, yeah. As someone who is one, a man, and two, doesn't have any sisters, Aisha, I want to get your thoughts on this. I don't think I appreciated the first time around how good the relationship is between the sisters. Like it's for me, it's such a good sister relationship. Like there are some little things of the between even individual pairings or just as a group in general. Just like you say, oh, these are people that actually did spend all of their lives together and obviously had this big trauma at the start. Aisha, what do you think of the relationship between the sisters?
Yeah, I mean, on the rewatch, I did realize how close they are, and it's unusual actually because there's so many of them.
Hmm.
So for each individual relationship to be that close is quite unusual. Um, but I don't know. I mean, it seemed pretty accurate to me of what sisterhood, like good sisterhood, looks like in that sense. Yeah, they were very cute, a cute bunch.
Angel, any thoughts on the sister relationship?
Absolutely love to see it. Like their honesty, transparency, realness with each other.
Hmm.
Mm.
It's so beautiful to see. Like I feel like that's how I feel with my friends. Like I don't have sisters myself, but they feel like my sisters. So I feel like that's how we are. Like, Mister, what the fuck is wrong with you? But also like I'm gonna kill somebody for you because
Yeah, I
I
think
can.
it's also maybe intensified by the fact that they lost their parents,
That part.
and that always helps a relation helps you bond.
Yeah, it helps is
Doesn't
like
I mean it doesn't help if
Trauma
you're
bonding. No,
but
genuinely, trauma bonding
no,
does
but
work.
it does help a relationship get stronger, and it
Mhm.
improves the intimacy of anything familial bond when you collectively share in a
Yeah.
traumatic event because everyone has their own perspective on it. But sometimes it can divide. Like there's a new movie on Netflix called His Three Daughters as well, which
Mm,
is
Mm.
also another sisterhood relationship and explores in a very different way. First of all, I think they're older than the other sisters, but way more fragmented relationship. And it shows in that way how a traumatic event like death can and grief can divide as opposed to bring you together. So I think they're the
Mhm.
most, I would say, positive result of that such a thing, you know? So
Yeah.
I don't
yeah,
know.
it's interesting you mentioned his three daughters, which I'm yet to see because I was just right now thinking about apart
Same.
from this and Little Women, I can't really think of any other depiction of like sisterhood, at least between more than
Familial.
two people. No,
Hmm.
mainly sisterhood. Really, I think brothers. You can probably
Oh,
find that
I
anywhere.
mean, sisterhood of traveling pants. That's why I said familial. Like I can think of
Zizu with
movies.
Traveling Pants is also a perfect
Yeah.
friendship
Yeah.
one as well.
Yeah, yeah. I
Exactly.
was going more
Yeah.
for actual, yeah, familial,
Yeah.
but sisters. Yeah, yeah. I think there's a lot of like found family and friends that become sisters kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I don't, apart from this Little Women, I can't really think of any other,
But I
at least
also
famous
think
ones.
do you
No,
do
go
you
ahead.
not also think that the show's premise is so tight, right, with what they're exploring in the shows. It's quite a tight premise in the sense that we don't really explore too much of their interior lives, the other sisters necessarily, apart from Grace, really. Maybe Ava, a bit of Ava as well. In that way, I do think maybe in season two, as you start to know them more, that kind of like perfect sisterly relationship may start to unravel a bit more,
Fall
and you may
apart.
see a bit more of depth or a bit more
Mm-hmm.
of some cracks coming through there. Because I do think they hint at it ever so slightly in season one, with certain things, especially towards Ava, because she had to assume the position of the mother, which always is a hard thing for
Mm-hmm.
people growing up. Obviously, hard for Becca and Ava's relationship, as you can
Hmm.
see. But
Yeah.
I do think we needed to just establish liking them and rooting for
Hmm.
them, and we can only root for them if we see how strong their bond is. And I think now maybe we'll start to see maybe all isn't so perfect in the
So
You
do you
bring
gathering.
up a
mean,
good point.
yeah, do you mean
But
always imperfect between them or individually, like in their lives?
I think it's clear that all is imperfect in their lives already. Very on a very
Mm-hmm.
subtle,
Mhm.
on a very. I think if you're watching closely, you start to see, like for example, BB. It's not just her trauma from her physical life altering experience. It's also like her having a child, an adopted son. It's
Mhm.
it's it's her relationship with her
Or
wife. It's a lot of, you see Ursula. You see it subtly if you
mhm.
pay
Mm-hmm.
attention to it. Ursula's house is always so messy. Like that's
Mhm.
something they're trying to tell you something by that. But I think between the sisters, because you need to root for them, and often shows do this because they need you to root for them, and then later on you may start to see, because I do think the sisters were united by John Paul's
That
evil
part.
deeds.
Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And
Yeah.
they all having something happen to them, which only
Mhm.
unifies them. There really
Yeah.
wasn't too much to cause them to go against each other, or any stakes that were competing, personal stakes versus familial stakes, or that kind of thing of like whether you're weighing up to do something for your sister or to do something for yourself. There wasn't really that question as much in this
Mm-hmm.
season. I do think looking at season two's trailer, there might be way more of that because now they're unified in
Mm-hmm.
in attempted murder. Like they're
Yeah, all
they
family.
so it's going to come into play where there will be personal contexts that will make them think, okay, maybe perhaps I don't want to. My ideal thing isn't to sacrifice for my sister. Maybe I have to think about myself in this scenario, and I think that will get a bit more. It will start to show me cracks.
I
Okay.
also think
Yeah,
like
go ahead.
the fact that they were united against John Paul, a lot of the
Hmm.
truth they were finding about each other. It's not like I don't think they would
Yeah,
necessarily all accept that if it
that's
wasn't
true.
for the situation of John Paul is the greater evil right now. We need to
And
save
also
Grace.
their sister, and watching their
Yeah,
sister slip away,
exactly. We need
which
to save Grace.
which is something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So sad.
Okay, let's put a pin in that. And I think when we finish ranking the sisters, we'll come to that as we look forward to season 2. But yeah, let's try and rank these women. Angel has a hot take. Do you want to repeat the hot take you said to me before we started
Yeah,
recording?
I was saying the top 3 and bottom 2 assets.
Okay,
Like I
so
feel like that's a general consensus.
let's see if that's true. I guess
Okay,
Aisha,
let's
will start with
go.
you. Who's your number 5 sister, i.e. the worst?
My number 5 sister is hold on. I want to make Becca. Becca's my number 5 sister,
She's already
actually.
thrown my list off the top.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
Wow.
even like
Becca.
okay. Pitch
Why?
it. I guess go ahead.
Well, Becca's very self-involved.
Mm,
And I mean, admittedly, she's very young. And at that age where you are tend to be quite self-involved because, you're just getting your own independence. So you feel like everything should be about you. But I do think, I mean, maybe it's just a personal. Becca is extremely annoying. Like I watching the love story between her and I can't even remember his
Matt.
name because honestly, I
Matt.
couldn't even care
Clapping.
less. Was just such a
Respect for
waste of
Darren
my
McCormack.
time. I didn't need to see that. It was like, why am I watching them walk through these fields? Like I'm looking at like a, I
They're
don't know,
falling in love.
like an
Did you
on
hear the
ad by
music?
Zendaya.
Oh
I don't
wow.
need to see that. I need to see that. But Becca, I think, is very self-involved, and I think if not for the fact that she has such a strong root with her sister, she would be a way worse person. I think honestly, her sister saved her from being a more selfish person, and to me that makes her the worst sister because she has no reason to be as selfish as she is. She's just selfish. So I think she is that, and me being annoyed by her is why I put her as 5.
Number
Like if you
5.
think about Becca's actions throughout this season, there are many moments where she could have thought about somebody else or actually just maybe used her brain a bit more. Like she is quite like not all the lights are on up there. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
So
Stop it.
you
Like,
you have to think. I mean, there are moments. I mean, on the rewatch, I was like, Becca, why are you doing this? Like, you're
yeah.
just being, like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
take a step back and think about what is the most strategic thing to do here, and it's not what you're doing. And
Um
so yeah.
okay, so Angel, I know Becca is not your worst based on your
No.
reaction. So I guess who's your number 5? Let's
Mhm.
go like
This is
that.
actually a tough one for me,
Mhm.
but it's actually Ursula. Um,
Really?
Ursula, you're saying Becca is self-involved. In the same way,
Hmm.
I feel like Ursula is also selfish. I feel like a lot of her motivation, yeah, she cares about Grace, but I feel like a lot of her motivation in trying to get JP was to protect herself.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was trying to keep her secret from coming out. She was trying to keep her life from getting fucked up while consistently maintaining it too. So I'm just like, girl, all your sisters out here running around headless chicken, trying to save Grace from JP, and your main worry is, oh my God, my husband is going to find out about my affair. No, babes. It can't be. Even her side man left her because she implied, hey, do you want to just, kill JP for me? Like, I know you get mad. Like, see what he did to me, which fair enough.
Did
What he
she
did
no?
was
But did
crazy.
she imply that, or did she ask him whether he was planning on doing it as a
Why would she ask him that?
self-protection
Why would
mechanism?
she ask him that if she didn't expect that that was one of the potential options, what she told him?
Yeah, but I think she was
That's
trying to
asking.
prevent that happening as opposed to
No,
egging
What?
him
there's
on from
no. I don't
doing
think
it.
so.
Her best case scenario there was him killing JP and
Yeah, I think
her
she
being
was.
able to breathe. Maybe he'll go to prison. She just forgets her life. She don't even need to know
And
what's
then
going on.
it's not her sisters that have to do it.
Exactly. She maintains her
I see
family.
what you
Her
mean.
sister is saved. But I just felt like, especially on rewatch, I just felt like I was just like, a lot of the things you're doing, Ursula, is for you. Like, you're going to go meet your man on the side. You're going to run to the hospital to go and find your husband. Like, what are you doing for Grace here? Like, I just
Yeah,
I get your point, but I also think that like in the context of everything, she may seem very selfish, right?
Mhm.
But then if you take away that context, how bad is what she's doing? She just
No,
cheats on her husband. You know
she's
what I
just
mean?
having an affair, which is already
okay, okay.
morally, let's not talk about it. But she knows that.
True, but I don't know. I mean,
She
maybe I
knows
have a
that.
soft spot for bad women. I don't know. I just feel like
And that's
extra
fair.
extramarital activity for me is not. I wouldn't knock a woman out for
No,
that. You know
I'm
what I
not
mean?
penalizing her for the affair. I'm just penalizing her for the fact that that's what
I
she cared
am.
about protecting more
Yeah, you're
than
a man, so it's
that's what
okay.
it
You can
felt.
put
That's
that
what it
I'm,
hand
felt
pe-
like
down.
to me.
I'm
Okay.
penalizing her for the affair.
Yeah.
How please.
I'm just saying.
It just felt like to me
No,
she
no,
was
I
more worried
agree. I
about
agree with
protecting
you.
that than
You
her
silenced
sister.
me, quite
Yeah.
frankly. You silenced me. But I don't know. I still have a soft spot for her, so I have no idea why.
I'm hoping she can show me something in season 2 that's like, oh, okay.
Her life just
Substance.
seems so miserable. I too would,
It's
go and
so
have a little
sad.
dalliance with my
It's so sad.
photographer.
I would move
It's
into the
so
house he bought.
sad.
Like, I would move into the house with my
Yeah,
children.
I didn't understand. I was
I was
actually
like, what
watching
you
this
mean?
with my. Do you know what's so funny? I was actually watching this with my mom, and my mom said to me, we're watching it like it's funny part we're not even together watching this. Like I told her to watch this show,
Yeah.
and she said to me, "Why didn't you just move in with the photographer and live her life?"
Poor,
My
poor
mom said,
Dono.
"There's space for the kids."
Oh my
Literally, he
god,
said there's a room for the kid. There's rooms for the children. What more
poor
do you want? He's
Dono.
giving up his studio.
My guy is just pulling off extra shifts to protect for his family and keep it stable. But everybody's like, go live with your photographer. Oh my god,
Sorry, what
wow.
was Donald given to the people?
A stable house, a
Is
stable
it stable?
family,
The
She
a
house
roof
is
mentioned how
over
very
your,
messy it
over
messy.
your
was.
I don't
head.
think he's doing
It's
his job as a
stable.
partner.
No.
I'm wondering why that house is so messy. I don't think he's doing his job as a
They
partner.
are
She's probably
3.
I
overwhelmed.
well,
She's
I think the
What
show
overwhelmed.
showed
kids?
that Donna was the one more present than Ursula. At
From
like
one
No,
scene, from one
literally one
scene.
time.
no,
The one
but
Once
time
you
she's
watch
like,
it's
hey, we
disclaimer,
should have been here with the
perception,
kids.
no,
perception.
Thank
but
you.
it's not the scene. It's the confrontation after the scene in which he basically like, "Where are you?" every time, and she has no reply
That
because she's
is a
always with.
classic
Okay. Okay,
Um,
absentee
but where is
father
he?
I
That's
am not
exactly.
argument.
about
But
to.
where is he?
Here's the thing. I am not about to start defending the man on this podcast. That's not
Someone has to
happening.
stand up.
Um,
Someone has to stand up and take care of those kids. Why can't it be him? That's what I
Exactly.
have
He
to say.
expects it to be Ursula.
no, I don't.
Okay.
Oh my. No, okay. I mean, I'm just
Exactly.
saying. Somebody,
No,
somebody,
but Angel, I
wrist,
get you on this. I
somebody
get you on
sprained
this.
their wrist, and it was Donald that was there. Um,
Because
it's
Ursula was trying to keep her affair from spiraling into the life. Okay, she was
yeah,
dealing with other
exactly.
things.
Selfish reasons. Aisha, what's your number 4?
Grace, my number 4.
This is so.
We
This is so
agree here.
interesting because it
Grace
means
is my
we.
number
Uh,
4.
it
Can
means
I?
what?
Because it just means like obviously Ursula is higher on the list for you than
Yeah, she
and
is.
I just want to can I just really speak on Ursula because we didn't talk about how we're ranking these characters,
Oh,
right?
Oh
yeah.
yes, how are we ranking
Which
this?
was
Mhm.
again, it was I intentionally just let it open to see what you wanted because we could do like most interesting or terrible person or whatever. Um, for me, Ursula was the least interesting character, like out of all the 5. Like she was the person that I didn't really care. Again, maybe because her whole thing was predicated on like
The affair.
a selfish, and not even just the fact it was an affair, but like a selfish thing coming to light. Right,
I
every other
see.
person seemed to have like John Paul went out of their way to like
To
basically
ruin their
ruin their
lives.
life.
Yeah.
To me, Ursula was just there, and she was the one person that I could be like, I won't believe her if she said, "I'm doing this to protect Grace,"
Grace,
even though I
yeah.
think she was. I'm just saying, like every other person, she seemed like she was doing this to literally protect her life, and she was,
That's
yeah,
interesting.
like Aisha, you mentioned about how you didn't really care about Becca and Matt's relationship, and I would zone out whenever it was like Ursula and the photographer. It's like I really don't
And I mean,
care
that says a lot
about
about
this.
you, but that's
What does it say about me?
fine.
I just prefer relationship with a black man inside. Maybe that's it.
Yeah,
I
and
maybe that's
also you were just so offended by her extramarital affair that you were so enraged
you
that a
say that
woman
like
would
it's a bad
step
thing.
out
Oh,
on her
breaking news.
husband.
No,
Man
he
is
literally was like,
affronted by
"Pwah."
cheating. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Like,
Literally, yeah.
okay.
Say God forbid. With three
So
children at home.
I guess at the risk of spoiling my future, this is not some big reveal. Ursula is my fifth as well. I was just like,
Mm.
I didn't think it's funny because I think Angel mentioned this in the chat. Going in, I thought I had what my ranking was just because I
Same.
watched the show 2 years ago. I didn't remember.
Yeah.
I thought I knew what the ranking was, and I was like, oh, I didn't actually expect Ursula to be fifth. But yeah, Isha, you said you have the victim of domestic violence as fourth.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, she's number 4. Listen,
She's number 4 for me too. Let me just say that out.
Same. Like
Yeah,
listen.
opportunity. It's opportunity. I felt bad
w-
doing it. I was like,
she used to
am
be
I
my number 5. I was like,
I don't feel bad doing it. Listen, you can be a victim of domestic violence. You can have a lot of bad things happen to you, but you can still be a spineless, boring person as well.
ah, the
And
patheticness.
I think that being an interesting person, being a person with depth doesn't come for everyone, you know?
Mm.
And you have to ask yourself how she got herself in that situation in the first place, from the first day she met this
who
man.
What
who
was she
Listen,
looking for?
yes, I'm not saying that she deserved what happened to her. She does not deserve what happened to her. And I do think his manipulation, it works over time, and she's been with him for many years. So I can
Mhm.
understand her slow disintegration, her losing of self. I understand all those things. But Grace, you couldn't even go to your dancing class. There's so many things. I mean, I'm not going to mention all the things in present day, but it's
Mm-hmm.
very clear to me that maybe through the portrayal, maybe the writing of the character, maybe they went too far with her helplessness and her woe is me, little sheep, whatever. Maybe they went too
Mhm.
far with that, because I feel like I can't imagine a Grace that I, as a person, would look back on and say, okay, this is an interesting person, or this is a person I feel like maybe one day had a spine. It just looks like she was always, I can't imagine a Grace,
Mammy.
yeah, not being mommy, basically.
Okay. So like I said, Grace is also my fourth. So but my counterpoint to that would be is could we say that this is the result of almost 20 years of psychological torture? Because how old is
Of course.
Blanchard,
Yeah, of
whatever her name
course.
is?
Of course it
Blanard.
is.
Yes, Blanard. But for the
She's
fact that
yeah,
Of
Blanard
course
is
it
even
is.
checking her, like, mommy, please stand up, do something. Like, you're just gonna give up. Like,
yeah.
not to mention, like, her patheticness doesn't also only affect her. In this
It
whole time
doesn't.
she's
It
been with
affects
JP,
everyone.
she has consistently damaged each one of her sisters. And
Yeah.
Grace just says, well, he didn't mean it like that. He wasn't trying to do that. He was just playing.
Well, I don't know.
Oh,
I mean,
right. And I understand it's part of the manipulation, but as close as they are
it
as
is.
sisters, they are literally the counterbalance to her relationship with JP. So why is it so easy for her with JP to be like, well, we're just gonna turn this way, versus for her sisters being like, oh,
No,
yeah,
because at
okay,
some point she saw herself as superior to them because she was in a stable relationship with a
married,
man.
happy with
Wow.
That's what it
child.
was.
Wow.
That's what it is.
She's trying to maintain that at all costs. That family unit, that's her new
No,
family,
that would have been the starting point for her. This is like, I mean, we can go deeply psychological with this
Oof.
stuff. I had an argument about this the other day. This is like, at the beginning, she definitely thought that she would have been superior to them because she was in a stable relationship. And she had an argument with Ava once, or one of them, where
She
she
didn't
did
have any
say
kids.
such a, yeah,
Yeah.
she said such a thing about,
Yeah.
that sort of thing, like, you don't
Yeah.
understand. And that's a common thing people say at the
Oh, she
start,
took your sister's eye. Her eye. Her eye. She was a shooter. Her eye's gone.
She was a shoot.
Promise your sister money. Now she's in debt. Like, she's actually just in debt.
Yeah. I mean,
She
look,
puts her there.
I actually do think, and this might be controversial, I do think the performance is really good.
It is good.
She
I
played
It
it
is
think
too
good.
well.
I
She
think
played it too well, I think. Yeah.
she shows, and I think a scene that keeps coming back to me is when Ava is in the house. I can't remember what John Paul tells her to do, and Ava looks at her and she's like, I haven't had to take out the bins out in 2 years or something. And it's just like, John Paul is so good at giving this little thing as an example of
Amazing.
being a father and being present. That she's like, oh, it's an equal exchange. And it's like, it's that meme of like the exchange rate doesn't add up. It's like a
Doesn't
mark
add up.
for pasta. It's like he
Like
has,
he framed her for cat murder, and she does not even know.
but she doesn't know. That's the thing. She doesn't know. She doesn't know of these things. I
No,
mean,
I think you can't blame present Grace, but you can definitely blame past Grace for getting herself in this
Present
position.
Grace is the reason she's number 4. Okay.
by past, you mean as in like, you mean
As they're
before the
showing the
show started?
flashbacks and
Yeah.
all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Present Grace is the reason she's number 4 because thankfully John Paul's death has allowed her to release it more. But not even that. It's the fact that sorry for anybody who hasn't watched season 1, like a spoiler.
No, I mean, we are spoiling. So,
She's the
yeah.
one who killed John Paul. Like
Yeah.
that for me, that moment of her standing up, I said, thank God. I said, Grace, okay. You know, you've been praying 30 days and 30
that would
nights
have
for somebody
made
to
me-
open your eyes.
Yes, no. So my issue with Grace is not even like her helplessness or whatever. Like you can be a helpless person. I just think Grace is incredibly god awful boring, and I
that's fair.
really just I think I can't imagine wanting to hang out with her. And I think that's if you're talking about favorites, how I rank people is by thinking, who am I interested in? You know, and that interest might manifest from different reasons, but
Yeah.
would I want to know about their interior existence on an everyday if I out of the show? And I don't want to know about Grace's interior existence. I didn't want to know about Grace at 5 or at 10 or even at 15, topless of
Like I'm
40
sure
something.
she was lovely, you know, I'm sure. But I don't care.
Yeah, Grace's scenes were only interesting because I knew John Paul was going to be there.
You can say that again.
So no, yeah. So I mean, just Angel, your point about she was one that killed him. I also think the reason she killed him is a good what triggers her to kill him because like she realizes that no, you are lying because
you're
Ava
evil.
wouldn't do that.
She would never.
Like you have to have raped Ava. So
no,
it's
I think it's so funny because the John Paul's whole issue, his biggest issue with her was her closeness to her sisters. And it shows by every action he's done and obviously by what he did to Ava. And he keeps trying to disintegrate the sisters and keeps not succeeding. And I know he's probably been trying since they got together and not succeeding at it. And I think it was when he finally was about to succeed, she finally caught on. And it's interesting that like at his highest moment of like, oh, I finally got what I wanted was when she's finally like, oh, I'm waking up now to your
because he did too much. Why did he tell her that?
Yeah, it's just like that's
like
okay, that's
he
not
was
true.
feeling like at this point she's gonna eat any lie I tell her.
Exactly.
Because he was feeling trapped. He was feeling trapped with himself because he thought to himself, I finally succeeded at this thing that
and he's also trying to prove a point that like, oh, their sexual issues aren't about him. It's about her. She's like, yeah, even Eva wanted me. The fuck do you mean even Eva wanted you? Eva.
John Paul, what does he say when she buys the dressing gown?
He says you look like one of your sisters. You should take it off.
Oh, so something like wearing chip things, saying chip things, something like that. Like,
he said cheap.
Yeah.
My favorite John Paul remark was when he said to Roger, forgiveness is upwards, not downwards.
As in, like, you can't forgive me, you're not capable. I said, God, John Paul needs to teach a masterclass on hating.
That was my favorite one.
So
I was
funny.
like, wow, that's really like I'm impressed, like, actually.
How have you been caught red-handed? Okay, being a criminal. I said you've been caught red-handed and being a criminal, but you are still superior in this situation.
And again, back to my point, I think we can laugh at these things because we know he's dead. If we thought there was a chance of him getting away with this, we would be like, this is unbearable. But he's so funny.
No, he's actually ridiculous.
Performance, the way he delivers it, it's just some of the lines, God. Like even what he says to Ava at the start about like, the first episode was about her being basically barren, and I can't remember what he says, but just like everybody's like, how can you say that?
Like, how dare you, John Paul? And Grace going, he didn't mean that.
Mommy.
So your fourth one, Angel. What's your fourth one?
It's Grace.
Oh yeah, Grace as well.
Okay. That's locked in.
Yeah,
Wow,
Aisha,
I'm surprised she made it.
I think I might know where you're number 3. Aisha, what's your number 3? Let's see if
it's Ursula.
Yeah.
I think I like Ursula. I don't know why. Ursula's energy. I don't know what it is about her. I like to hang out, maybe go get coffee or something, talk about her extramarital
This
affairs.
is so
I don't
interesting.
know.
I would not want to have a coffee with Ursula.
I would be one of those friends that after she finishes with the photography, she comes to see me and
And
we'll
give you the
talk
tea.
about it. And
Mm.
I will tell her, maybe you should stop, but I love it because she's providing drama in my
But she
life.
never seems lively.
Um,
Or
she
except when she's with him.
Exactly, because her
Oh,
life, listen, the life that she's living right now, it's taking away her
miserable.
life. It's sucking the
Yeah.
life out of her, and you see her come alive when she's with him,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful to see.
Okay.
I just think there's so much depth to Ursula that I can't wait to see. I don't know. And I feel like she's a bit slept on, with her sisters. She seems like that kind of, sister that never had room to grow. Grace
Mm.
Grace seems like she was so helpless that they always focused on her because she was the weak link.
But Grace is
And Becca's the youngest. So
yeah.
like he's the baby. So there's that. But Ursa's this kind of middle child, she like
She's
activates my
useless
savior
with
complex in
that.
some way. Like I'm like, I want to
Um,
help her.
so something on Grace, which I don't think the show doesn't really dwell on it, so we didn't really mention it just now, is the fact that I believe she's older than John Paul.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't remember where I got that from, but there's a scene where John Paul is like, I think they're talking about his sexual issues, and he's like, well, I'm not an old man, so where do you think that's coming from?
Mm.
So I think the idea is like they met, which is part of the attraction, and probably why he excited to like manipulate her. I think the idea is that he's a bit younger than her, because if she's like
I don't
almost
know. Is that
50-ish.
true?
I'm literally
I
checking the
don't
Googler
know.
right now.
Well, yeah, it's worth. I can't remember where I got this from,
I
but
don't
it's
think
some.
so. Because
But
I
anyway,
remember. Anyway, yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, that's
That would
my.
add an interesting dynamic to their
It
relationship.
would definitely add
maybe it's a
layers.
personal fanfic into the writing that I've done myself. I don't know. Well, it's just something
I
that's in
just
my
think
head.
he makes her look old because he's put her through so much, and it's
Oh
showing on her
yeah.
That's
face.
Oh
fair.
yeah. Like Eva's old and look at Eva.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. She's looking good.
Nary a wrinkle in sights.
Angel, who's your number
Okay.
3?
Yeah.
My number 3, I just want to say one thing about Ursula before
Mhm.
I say my number 3. My favorite Ursula moment, my sweetest Ursula moment, I don't know if it's because
Yeah.
like
Tell
I
me.
relate to it, is
Tell me.
when her side bae finished beating up John Paul. She goes to confront him in the studio of the house or whatever, right? And he's talking about, she's like, let me see your hand. She's like, you did that for me? I was like, yeah, I get it, girl.
Okay. Okay.
I was like, yeah, I get it, girl. I feel like that's the
Did
most
you
emotional I've seen off of
Oh
her.
god.
I swear to God, like I felt
did
very
you
vulnerable.
see that video of Tom Holland and Zendaya when Tom Holland is pushing away the
Yeah,
paparazzi and girls are
yeah,
going crazy over that? Do you know
yeah.
what? I get it because I just think sometimes we need to go back to primal instincts.
Literally,
Okay.
like
Because
protect,
Okay.
because
protect.
yeah,
Okay.
because I think we're all in this kind of like
Well,
we're on
go
this
ahead. Go
era
ahead.
where where
Please go
where
ahead.
it's all like where no it's true where it's all like I needed to consent for him to protect me or all of that stuff. I mean
Yeah,
consent is good and consent in terms of relations, you know what I mean? But I feel
yeah.
like and then I just feel like people are in this weird space. But actually,
Things like
yeah,
that should be instinct.
go fuck him
Yeah.
up. Go fuck him
Like, what
up,
do you mean he saw a picture of your
I
vagina? I'm
wanted
gonna
him to
beat his eyes
bash
out.
John Paul's head on the
He
fucking
didn't do
car.
enough. He
Like
didn't do enough.
he
I
didn't
wanted
do
to
enough.
knee him on the balls, like give him 2 black eyes. I know you had one already. He needed 3 more. Like
Do you know what's
ridiculous.
so funny and also shows like how I've turned out to be? Same thing. The only other time my mom called me out was after that episode going. I was so happy when he got beat up. Like I needed him to beat him up. I was so excited. Like he should be.
Fuck him
Yeah,
up.
exactly. Yeah, no, you're
But
right.
yeah,
I love that. I love that addition from you. It's
yeah.
perfect. It's very nice.
She showed me
Yeah.
something there, so I'm excited to see more. But my number 3, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
surprised we have flipped, is actually Becca.
Who?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
In the
explain this now.
same instance of you're like, oh, I want to go grab a coffee. I'm like, Becca's chaoticness and her youthfulness
Mm,
makes sense to me. Like, I won't say Becca is not selfish. She's definitely very selfish, but I get it.
mm,
Like, it's not her fault that the boy that she just met, who could be the love of her life, ends up being an insurance man coming after her sister. I know it's tough. She should end the relationship, but you feel things. You feel things. And then also with her feeling left out as the youngest
Mm-hmm.
as well, they did leave her out of a lot of things because I think it's put her in a position of where she feels like she has to prove herself a lot of the time. Like she's like, no, I can do this by myself. You know, what happens with John
Okay.
Paul's mom,
I
her,
see.
you know, sneaking through his phone. Like, you know, she's like, okay,
I
well, if I'm going to
see.
maintain this relationship, let me try and help my sisters. You know what I'm
I
saying?
see.
And also her directly confronting John Paul. Another thing I respect badly about her. I mean, like, you motherfucking, yeah, she was drunk, but still, you motherfucking slimy
When was
ass
this?
bitches.
Oh,
This was shortly after she found out. She's like, why
the
can't we
office party.
the office party, yeah, when she was wearing
Yeah,
that sweater. I can't forget. I was like, yeah, you tell him to his face, bitch. Don't let him lie. Don't let him sneak and hide behind Grace like he's trying to do. Her piercing his mom's nose. She's really like, fuck John Paul across the board after that. Like, she
yeah.
fucked John Paul across the board. So I feel like her youthfulness, like her character, like I can get into it. Like she feels like a person who would have one of those days that just, you know, keeps
I see. I think she would be a very fun friend, but I also
exactly.
think she's the type of friend that would miss your birthday because her boyfriend wanted to watch his Arsenal match or some shit like that. Probably doesn't support Arsenal, probably supports a shitty team like West Ham or some stuff.
Thank
Okay,
Okay,
you.
whatever.
that's good. But also,
Mhm.
yeah, like no boyfriend.
But
The
Arsenal
boyfriend will allow
fans, I
her
don't think he
go.
supports Arsenal because he doesn't have this.
Stop
You know,
it.
Arsenal fans
Stop
have
it.
this
Don't just
sort
stop.
of,
Just
you
stop.
know,
Coming
empathetic.
from my
You know
Oh,
what? You
people.
okay.
know, Angel,
Continue.
Angel. I actually want
Continue,
to use the
actually.
opportunity to say something I've meant to say
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
Since I've joined this podcast, right, I've had to because I now follow all of these men, you know, on
Yeah. Oh my
Twitter.
God.
I'm having to experience all of these like phenomenas of like every weekend. All of a sudden, it's like my Twitter is filled with all these things
Everball,
I don't
the
know, and
classic.
it's
What
really
does this
disturbing
mean?
because sometimes I see things like Jesus and all these things, thinking like, oh my gosh, like oh, what's going on? And turns out it's just some fucking game. It's always some fucking game. And you know what's
I'm
funny is
just
I usually take that because I'm like, this is exciting, it's kind of fun. But
Yeah.
it's actually just they're always complaining about something. And no
Oh yeah.
surprise, they all seem to be Arsenal fans. I'm just really confused as to why you guys are the only ones complaining. It's like, is there
because you do
no like
because
Are we?
you
is there
I
no
don't
other
know. So maybe
team?
you only follow Arsenal
like
fans
now
because
so many
on my
things. Yeah.
TL, ha, every day
First
go
of
punish
all,
Man United. People don't even
yeah.
talk about Chelsea anymore because let's
First of
be
To
all,
be
Aisha, you
honest.
honest,
said
my brother's a Man United fan, and I called him the other day, and maybe his team lost or something, and he was very
Exactly.
snappy with me,
I'm going to be like, how happy is he?
and
He can't
I
be that happy.
wasn't I wasn't very happy, and he paid for it because I'm like, I don't care if your game lost, like that doesn't mean you have to be rude to
That
me.
doesn't
Like
give you
what
a
the
right
fuck?
to be upset. Go take a breath
Anyway,
outside.
back to Becca though.
no.
Yeah,
Wait,
she's
wait,
Yeah.
that
wait,
person
wait.
that will.
Aisha, wait, sorry, because
Huh?
you can't just say that and go like back to Becca. First of all, you said you're having to experience. It sounds like it's a pleasure for you to experience
It's
all of
not my
that. So,
choice.
so you're
It's not my choice.
welcome.
I didn't consent to this.
Well,
Why? I didn't
you
consent.
followed us. Second of all,
What I followed you, I thought you would tweet interesting things. I didn't
no,
think that you
not
guys were
really.
going to be
Oh,
commentators as well.
yeah,
Someone else does that job. Why do you guys have to do that job as
because
well?
we
I
we
didn't
do it better.
understand
Woo!
Second of all, like Angel's an Arsenal fan, so
I am.
there's
Yeah, but I
that.
don't think Angel is tweeting. I don't see Angel. I follow Angel
Oh,
on Twitter, so
I
I don't
have
see her tweets.
disassociated myself. Like I'm an Arsenal fan.
Exactly.
Woo, go
I
Arsenal.
don't see her tweets there every game you guys play. I see
You
like
might
you
see
guys.
a God I beg once a year, but you know.
Thirdly, you were talking about how Arsenal fans are empathetic, and can you just? I want to put this on
Mhm.
my Hinge profile. Can you just continue? So,
Yeah, you're empathetic, but then you also have this sort of like faux tortured soul behavior that goes on because you lost for so many years and you think that that entitles you guys to like
oh,
some sympathy or something. And I'm just like, it's a game. Let's
that's
move
incredible.
on.
That mixes
But you
incredibly
guys
well
are
with
lovely.
mine.
I do think I've always said though, just to redeem myself a tiny bit, not that I care, but I've always said that Arsenal fans are the best to
That is
date
fact.
because at least they know what suffering is like.
Okay, okay,
Um
it's
You are
enough.
doing so
but
well. Like,
Yeah, okay,
thank
calm down,
damn,
you. Thank you so much.
calm down,
damn.
stop.
But I do think like, you know, Man United fans I would never do that
They are
again in my life.
insufferable. Oh
Oh
my
yeah,
fucking
I'll
god.
leave that because I just wanted to get that off my chest. Obviously, I don't take podcasting seriously. I just come here to say what I want to say, clearly. But back to Becca though, back to Becca.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I do think she's the type of girl that will leave you on a night out because her boyfriend's like, you know, she wants to fuck him bad or whatever. But however, however, I think that Becca shoots herself in the foot
Mm.
because she, you know, she says, "Oh, I don't want to be seen as a young
A
person
child,
as a
yeah.
child, and then she does childish things, which then make me think you're not helping your case. And as the youngest who was never taken seriously, and I'm still not taken seriously,
Mm.
I get annoyed watching her because I'm like, hey, young,
You're making it
young,
bad for all of
uh,
us.
hey, come here. Let me be your sensei. Let me teach you,
How to be a young child.
Yeah.
The last one. But yeah, she definitely has big last month syndrome. Like she's like, it's
Yeah.
just gonna work because I'm doing it. I'm like, girl, has it worked thus far?
Is this where I talk about Eve Houston's eyes? Or do I say that for the
No, she's
Yeah.
Patreon?
beautiful. She's
Gorgeous girl.
insanely beautiful.
Okay.
In Perfect Couple as well,
Cheese.
she was doing something. She's insanely beautiful.
Oh yeah, I
Like,
need to watch that. I
yeah,
forgot she was on that.
Don't
My
end it.
thing about Becca, which I agree with everything you guys have said. She's third on my list, like Angel. Is my biggest problem with her is the sequence after Mina dies. And I understand the guilt and everything, but it's like, to me, that was where the biggest selfishness came up, where she's like, she wants to go report to the police. I'm like, what are you talking
I was like,
about?
what are you talking
Do you
about,
not
babe?
know what we're doing here? Like, are you taking notes on the fucking criminal conspiracy? What are you doing? Like, you can't go report. Like, so I understand the guilt, but at the same time, I was like, and I do think that guilt influences a lot of her burnt outness
Decisions. Yeah.
in like post John Paul's death. Like, when you see her, you're like, why is she like dating? Like, oh, actually, she's like,
Running ragged. Yeah, because
yeah.
but I
she
also
killed her friend
think
by mistake. Yeah.
her
Mhm.
stupidity caused the greatest consequence, which was
Yeah.
someone else dying.
But was it
Because
stupidity
Actually
though?
dying.
no, because Emma said, don't do it. Oh, yes, I
She's
know we cannot hear. She
and
said, don't do it.
she only did it to prove herself.
To
Becca
prove that I
is
could do
is
it
But everyone
anyway.
else signed
yes.
up on
Becca
it.
is fueled by a lot of
Thank
things,
you.
that lead back to, how she felt as a child, how she feels in
Yeah.
the context of her
Yeah.
family. And I'm just kind of like, go to therapy and help
And
yourself
deal
instead
with
of
it. Like, 'cause
getting
think
people
about it.
killed.
Everybody else, even though things happened, the house burnt, the dog died, they were working in partners, two on two, two on two, two on two.
Exactly.
You on your own, Becca. That should tell you, I shouldn't be in this house right now.
I mean, Bibi and Ursula signed off on it.
Yeah, but were they there?
Mm.
She went without them. Had she gone with them, maybe somebody
She
could have seen,
couldn't.
oh, that's Mina entering the
Yeah,
freezer.
I guess.
I said, don't close the door.
Yeah, again, I also forgot until it got to the episode. I forgot that Min had died. I forgot like how
Minna, she was
dark the
the
show went
best.
in that.
Also, I would love to know
And
about
John
John Paul's
Paul's rifle.
heritage because Minna
Girl.
seems to be French
Yeah, but
sounding.
he's Swedish. I think they mentioned it in the show.
Also, is Minna
They
Swedish?
did.
Maybe his dad was Swedish.
Maybe
I
his
don't know.
dad was. I want to see a little bit more of John Paul's child. Actually, you know what? It's okay. Let's be done with
No,
evil.
yeah,
But she
Let's be done with
sounded
evil.
Minna
Fine.
sounded a bit French, so I wonder if there's some French
maybe.
there.
Maybe she might be French.
So we know the top two are Bibi and Ava. So I guess Ayisha, who's your
Shout
number
out to the
two?
girls.
My number 2 is Ava. She was going to be my number 1, but I think my number 2 is Ava because I identify a lot with Ava. I love her. She is about her shit,
Yeah.
She's just great. She's also an architect, which is kind of
10
crazy.
10. Which is actually.
Although she doesn't do anything that looks like real architecture. There's actually a really, really funny scene where John Paul is supposed to be doing work when he's about to frame Roger in the upstairs thing, and
Yeah.
he's like, he has this model up and it looks like the fakest shit I've ever seen in my life. But I like her. I mean, I don't think I have to go on about Ava. Ava, I think,
Yeah.
is honestly the heroine of the whole show because you root
Literally.
for her, you feel bad for her, and in the end,
Inscrutable character.
she has
Just
the most fatal
a
blow. So
real ass bitch. She's a real ass bitch. Like real ass woman.
right?
No notes on her. Cool
Angel,
babe.
who's your number 2?
Bibi.
Angel,
Yeah.
Angel, our list is identical.
Is it?
Yeah.
Did I fortune tell? Was I clairvoyant? Did I have a feeling? I was right
well,
about our
speak of-
top two. I thought it was going to be 3, but at least our top 2s
Yeah.
aligning.
Yeah.
Our number 4s aligning. Yeah, that's real. But obviously, Ava's my number 1. But Bibi, I really like Bibi. Same reasons I like Ava. I think Bibi is such a cool babe. She's so direct. Like she's somebody you can rely on. She shows compassion. She suffered a loss. But
Who's this Bibi?
pushed through that. This BBO. Yeah.
Okay.
You're shocked. Yeah, you're wondering where the compassion is to her child.
No.
She shows compassion to her child. I think she's genuinely a reliable person. Also, she's one person who scowls whenever John Paul walks into the room, which makes me so happy. I just feel like she wasn't hiding any of her feelings about anything. And she surprised me as well sometimes. Like in some situations where I thought Bibi was going to be like, oh no, fuck it. She's a lot more ridiculous and a lot more like her freezing the pellets. She's like, no, I have to make this work. However this works, it works, She's a lot more ridiculous than I thought she might be. And seeing her interact with her son and her wife, I love the gays, so also makes me love her even more. Yeah, genuinely a cool babe. Like I don't have bad things to say about Bibi.
Yeah.
No one does.
Do you have anything to say about Ava?
Ava,
Ayisha
again,
hasn't mentioned.
in the same way that she likes Ava because she sees herself in her, that's why I really love Ava. I feel like Ava is who I'd be in the show. Like not ideally, like
Yeah.
if I was being me in the show, I'd be like Ava. Like y'all need to get this shit together. Like
Yeah.
holding the family tight, but firstborn syndrome, is already there. And I just feel like she has her life together. She suffered a huge loss, like that she really didn't tell anybody about. Because not only did John Paul rape her, he caused her miscarriage. Like, them showing her us her ex-boyfriend and his now 2 children. I
Family.
said,
No,
hey,
that was awful.
I said
That was
I had to hold my
that was
chest.
properly awful.
I had to hold my chest. And she done all of this while collecting lashes from her sister every time, talking about nobody asked you to be the mother. Okay then, y'all should have gone to home. Y'all should have gone to home.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Nobody asked me to be mother, but I took up the britches. Okay? So stop punishing me for it.
Exactly.
Mother that stepped up.
Literally.
Aisha, your number one is Bibi, so do you want to talk about
Yeah,
Bibi?
my number one is Bibi because I think that sort of like cunty,
so cunty. Like
freaking badass, I don't give a fuck energy from Bibi is what gives the show that edge, I think.
Yeah.
And even how she dresses, everything.
Her home.
She just is effortlessly cool. Her home is like my dream house,
literally,
actually. And that's the funniest thing.
Stunning.
And it's beautiful. And every time I'm there, I'm happy. Every time there's a scene in her house, I'm so happy because I get to see more of her home. Yeah, no, Bibi, because I do think like that energy is what gives the show life. But also Bibi because to me, she's a character that I think beneath that hard exterior of, I'm aggressive and etc., there's so much beneath that. And I think that's just such a juicy thing to explore within a TV show. And she's just fucking cool. Like, how can you fucking not like Bibi?
The hug she gives Ava at the end is like, yeah, why didn't you just melt my heart a bit?
No, she could be so sweet.
Bibi,
and also I'm very much a Bibi in my family, so I feel very.
What does that mean?
Like I'm just
She's
very
the cunty
like
cool one.
I'm cunty. I'm cool.
I couldn't say the word.
They all want to be me. But also I'm just like not as emotional as most people. So I identify with Bibi in that sense. I like her. Yeah, she's the best.
I remember in the first season, the moment it was probably obviously after they showed us her accident, but that was when I put together the reason Bibi is always at the back of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Like because they showed for like the first 6 or 7 episodes, you see her always at the back, even when it's just 2 people. I'm like, that's weird. Why is she doing that? And they're like, oh yeah, because she's like emotionally scarred and never going to sit in the front of the car again.
Traumatized her.
Yeah, and I was like, oh wow. Bibi's great. Bibi and Ava are the ones that I didn't know they would be that high on my list going into the rewatch. Like, again, my memory was just like, I was like, oh, Bibi's like maybe the tomboy, I can't remember. And I was like, Ava is the lead character. It's very rare that the lead character is the best character.
Yeah.
But then watching it, I was like, oh, actually, no. She's actually, like, Ava is the funniest. And I think Sharon Horgan was just cheating when she gave herself the character of Ava. Ava is the funniest. Ava is obviously, like you said, the most with her head on straight. She has like the best life. And then in the end,
she's so real.
Yeah, and in the end, she has the most traumatic events happen to her.
JP, because everybody's talking about, oh, what JTP did to you? What he hasn't done anything to you, so you don't care. Oh,
yeah, and then when you realize that she's been like
raped.
No, yeah, but as in fact, like, like I hadn't forgotten the word. Right?
I was like, just in case you couldn't say it.
No. It's the fact that when you know that she's been holding all of this in all through the episodes.
Yes,
yeah. Even in their plot to kill John Paul, she's been holding all of this and didn't tell any of her sisters. Her sister thinks she's just doing it because she wants to help Grace, or at worst, because
They
he's
also
messing up
put
with our
us,
work.
the audience, with that misconception
Yeah,
because we end up
exactly.
thinking like, we know she hates him, but why? But why?
Why?
Like he
And
hasn't done anything. Is it just
I
of
guess
grace?
is it
And
just
then
work?
they do the work thing, and then you're
Mhm.
like, okay, finally, this is something. Only to find out, oh, no, that's nothing. That's just a
Yeah.
pebble in the hill of
And
John Paul.
that
But we should have
scene,
clued on because they alluded to it when that her co-worker was like, oh, I don't know what's going on with you and John Paul, but it feels
Yeah.
like something more. I was like, what the fuck do you
yeah.
mean something more? She hates
Yeah,
his guts.
exactly.
So me,
Exactly.
I
I
was
just thought
like,
it was
I always
the
thought John
coworker
Paul was
being
kind of
wrong.
attracted to her, to be honest. I
hmm,
always thought that was the thing.
it made me
In
pay
a,
more attention to that because I'm just like, yeah, maybe there is more here, but I can't imagine it being on Eva's part. She's not crazy.
Oh, also another reason why I
felt like
think
it was so cute as well. What a
Well,
cute guy.
also a reason why I think
he was.
what's her name, Grace, is older than John Paul is his inherent mommy issues. I need to go check
Mammy.
and confirm if I need to see where I got this information from. Anyway, but yeah, BB is great. Like I said, I didn't know that her and Ava would be so high on my list on rewatch. But like, obviously, the whole plan to keep John Paul from her. She's great. She's funny.
Mm-hmm.
I think her and Ava are like the really funny ones. That the ones that
They're
actually
Yeah.
made
very
me
funny.
laugh.
Yeah.
BB is hilarious. And her dry
And they're
humor
also
is just the
like not
best.
terrible. Like I don't know how else to put that. Like the remaining
Yeah.
three, they have their issues. They have
Yeah.
their issues, but it's like they're real. Like
They're the
like
least selfish ones. Well,
they're the
Grace is not
least
selfish. Grace
selfish.
is just what she is. Yeah.
Pathetic. She's on the spectrum. Selfless. She's selfless. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so yeah, I mean, I like the list. Like, obviously, Angel and I's list are exactly identical, but Aisha's list is basically within the realms of like ours as
Like we
well.
only
So that's
have
good.
like Becca and Ursula swapped really, and then
And
BB and
BB and
Ava.
Yeah.
Ava.
We agree because
Um,
those ones they could go 1-1, honestly.
mhm.
Yeah,
And for
exactly.
me, honestly, Grace and Ursula could have gone last, quite frankly. Like couldn't care
They
less.
share it.
They could. They were. That's the only thing that changed because
Oh,
I made my
justice
list
for
before I
Ursula, though.
Girl, show me
Yeah.
some next season. Okay, I want to root for you too. But
Um,
literally, before I rewatched, Grace was my last and Ursula was fourth. And then I rewatched and I was like, actually, I might dislike Ursula more.
okay, so we'll wrap up quickly, but so here's the thing.
Yes.
I want you guys to give me what you think their best terrible plan was. I think all their plans were terrible, but what was the plan that was actually a good way to kill him objectively when you're looking out? So let's just go through the things where the fire was the first one, then the liver, then was the watermelon, was the headshot the third,
I think it was the headshot. No,
then
it was
freezer.
the headshot, then the pew pew headshot, then what they do to him that ended up in the lake. I can't remember. They're trying to drug
Oh
him.
yeah, headshot, then drug
Yeah.
him, then
Yeah.
freezer,
Yeah.
then freezer, and they wanted to. Then that was it, and then Grace killed him. So out of those
Yeah.
5, what do you guys think was the actually like? Oh, this is actually a good murder plot.
Good. None of them were good.
No.
Okay, what was the best terrible
I feel like
one?
the
That's the
liver
thing.
could have succeeded because, that's a pretty safe bet in the sense that he's the only one who eats it. So, unfortunately for the dog, but it could have worked. It could have worked.
I haven't left. Yeah, actually, what's yours?
I think the paintball one was
That
maybe
would
the
have been my
best one.
favorite if they
Really?
had done that. I
think
wanted
that's-
that one to succeed.
No, not the smartest one, but it would have been really fun if it
No,
happened.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
yeah. I mean, but I was
The
okay.
smartest one I can't even pick because they were all incredibly dumb. And actually, at a point with the pacing of the season, I started getting really frustrated with them keeping trying. Because I really love the sisters and I just kind of want them to hang out. I was like, you're
Well,
keeping trying and you keep failing. And I just feel very like ashamed. I feel very
so I
embarrassed
think
for you.
As a
Like
woman.
stop doing it. Like it's just stupid. It started becoming a bit Tom and
It kept
Jerry.
getting more
And
ridiculous.
yeah,
It kept getting more
it kept
ridiculous.
going.
and that's
And I
the thing.
was
I
like,
think
stop.
I think that's
I think-
another underrated aspect of the show. I think the show is meant to be a Fargo-esque this bumbling criminals kind of thing. I don't know if maybe it has been touched on. I just didn't catch it, but I think it wasn't meant like that part was meant to be highlighted. And like these guys just keep on failing to kill this person. Like Tom and Jerry is right in the right way to put it.
Yeah.
I think that was
Yeah.
intentional. Like this
It
Looney
was
Tunes
comical.
plot. Yeah, and I do
It does
think
give it some levity and makes it not this kind of hard
Dark.
edge, kind of show. But then I do think there were points. But then again, I'm pretentious, so of course I'm
No,
not
I
gonna
think
like soft play.
After the freezer one, and when he showed up and they were like, what the fuck, is this guy a cockroach? I was like, yeah,
They were like,
you can't kill. It's like, they say in Scandal, you can't take command. Command has to take you. You can't kill JP.
I need to rewatch that show.
I'm literally on the last 5 episodes of my rewatch right now, so it's fresh in my brain.
In your brain.
I didn't finish Scandal.
And I said judges to Ashley when it was airing.
There was a point when I was like, I have to tap out.
No, real. That's what I thought.
I was like,
that's season 7 for me. But season 1 to 6?
I can't do this anymore. I was like, I can't do this
anymore.
anymore. I think it was when Command became Lex Luthor. I was like, this guy is too powerful. What is this? Like, I was like, anything they tried to do, I was like, now I've just left.
It was her mom that kept getting me. Her mom just got super confusing.
Yeah,
what's your agenda? You love live.
Let's not do this Scandal.
Anyway, sorry.
I have a left field choice for my best terrible plan, and both of you are going to disagree. Why? I have the drugging one, the one where he ends up in the lake, like drugging him.
Yes, that could have succeeded too.
That's like this one. Yeah,
I think they got him in the bathtub until the battery worked. I actually
it's so stupid. It's so stupid.
He didn't have whatever he's sniffing in his nose drops.
Nasal.
It must have given him some tolerance, because that's like being like, that was enough to kill an elephant. Why is he standing up?
Well, it's also a big man, but the watermelon one was just dumb. Like, I was like, even if it works, it's like,
it could have worked. If Becca didn't push her, he could have been there.
Yeah, but everybody's gonna see you shoot him.
Yes, but with paintball, it's not your fault. He was in the soft spot of his head.
Yeah, exactly. It will be just an unfortunate.
You know what happened after? They'll start doing paintball masks to covering at the back. That's how you.
But you're still held responsible. Like, even if it's not like real.
And she's gonna go, oh my God, I didn't mean to do that.
That scene was really awful when she realizes what she's done, and you just
because it's actually terrible. That
was really it wasn't nice. So I really
that was my best episode.
I really got the slap she gave to Becca. She's
like,
my
best episode of the season.
Every
is the
time
after...
you try to help, worst case scenario.
Yeah,
because Becca's just a nuisance. Like, goodness me,
she's misguided, but she's trying.
Yeah,
okay.
Maybe.
We'll wrap up by talking about what we think about this second season. I will just start by saying, one, I have not seen the trailer. I think the trailer came out a couple of days ago, so I haven't seen it yet. And I think I said this when we were talking about the preview for this, when we were previewing 4 shows. I've been very worried about the second season of the show. For a lot of reasons. I mean, considering the way it ended, you thought it was the first season. It was a one and done. But also, again, I haven't seen the trailer, so maybe he appears in the trailer, but I would be worried about this season that doesn't have John Paul. I do really want John Paul's presence in the show. And so, I want to know what you guys think.
Interrogate why that is.
I think I want the balance. I think, I think his performance is, and right? He's like, I think his performance and the character is one of the best things of the show.
All these words. You
know what? I just want
all these words.
I don't want too many women.
These words.
Too many women.
Literally, just say that.
All these words. It's so funny because I'm just thinking about how Bankole is already like awkward and stressed out by us interrogating him. But we're gonna eat him and throw him up.
Oh,
this is gonna be this is gonna be crazy. I love this. I can't wait.
Like, just prepare yourself.
I mean, it's fine if you think I'm awkward about it. I don't like to silence women and their thoughts. No, but I do like. I think him being the central villain that they were working against and towards and all of that stuff. I think it worked a lot for the first season. I don't know what, and also just like I said, like for example, Grace's scenes worked because John Paul was there. And if that doesn't happen now, what does that do? But what do you guys think about this second season? I don't know. Do you think
honestly,
they might go?
That's what I was worried about, because I'm like, well, now that we've solved JP's murder, the insurance case is closed. I mean, closed question mark, because I know they're broke, but the insurance case is closed. Like, where do we go next? Like, I thought it was done. I didn't know there was going to be a second season. In fact, I wanted there to be a second season, but I was like, honestly, if there is, I see why. But I don't know. I'm just excited to see what direction they go in. Like, I know there's a lot of there's going to be lots of paranoia now that they all know how John Paul really died. But I'm wondering who's going to be looking into that. That's going to have them, looking over their backs.
So that was going to be my question. And Ayisha, I can throw this to you because the most famous case of a second season that people didn't like is probably Big Little Lies, right? Where
Yeah.
you're like,
Which,
why
yeah.
did you do this? And so I'm
Yeah.
like, do you think this show could go that route of like, are they trying to evade law enforcement? Are they dealing with their guilt because they really shouldn't have guilt? Like, what do you think happens in
Exactly.
the second season? Where,
Like
where
you've
do you
seen the
think
Okay,
this is going?
trailer.
so
Give us your thoughts.
upon seeing the trailer, which I do think really helps, I'll do my pre-post trailer. So pre-trailer, I was very worried about all the same things as you, and I was very strongly upon the belief that wasn't necessary for a new season.
Mhm.
And I was like, like what's gonna happen? Are they just going to be invading the law? I thought it'd be like Big Little Lies.
Mhm.
But I think upon seeing the trailer, I think there will be a lot of other things that will occur. And maybe there might be another death. Maybe there will be another, killing
Ooh.
to cover up. Because the thing is, when you
Are we killing Roger?
commit
Let's
some
go.
murder, when you commit
Yeah.
some murder and you want to continue covering up, sometimes you have to cover up people that have seen things that you don't want
Yeah.
them to. So
Mm.
maybe there's something like that. But then also, I think going back to what I said at the start of the episode, we needed the first season to love the sisters and to believe in the sisters and to have personal, affiliations to each of
Attachment.
them. And
Yeah.
I do think now we're going to probably get deeper into it because now they're not introductory characters to us anymore. So
Mhm.
we might see some sister dynamics. We might see some,
Exactly.
sisters going behind each other's backs. We might see some sabotage,
Yeah.
saboteur. Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah.
be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and all in all, Sharon Hogan is great. So you just have to believe her until she proves
She is
Child.
amazing.
Truly.
otherwise.
Truly, truly,
Um,
I
truly.
trust her.
okay. Like we said, we're going to be here every 2 episodes, starting with the 2 episode premiere on the 13th of November. If you're listening to this, you probably have maybe one friend that watches Bad Sisters. First of all, tell them about this podcast. Also, get more people to watch this show because Apple TV are not going to do their promotion, so we have to do it for them.
Ah,
Yeah.
Um,
It's pretty
yeah,
good.
so it's a pretty good show.
yeah. Fantastic.
It's very
Yeah,
fun as well. It's a show you can watch
It's
with
so fun.
anyone.
Like
it's
rewatching it
really
again now, just
fun.
like it's oh my god, this is so
It's really
entertaining.
fun. That's what, and it's a show that I think
And it has a
even though I rewatch,
fantastic theme song.
yes.
Mhm.
Which
It
again,
does.
I'm trying to see what second song will be
Very
because first one was
creepy.
Yeah.
it was alluding to all the ways they tried to
Ooh,
kill him
I
and the eventual way he
say.
dies
Literally, it actually does. So
in the
I
Yeah,
wonder
it
if
premiere. I
they'll
wonder
was.
what
change
Yeah,
for the second.
I think they will. But
probably
like I
will.
said,
I'm excited
I've
for
said
that.
this every time describing this show, which is why, like I say, it's like it's a farce at points, right? Because to me, I said it's the best version of, and not to keep putting down the streamer, but it's the best version of like the random Netflix shows that they drop every weekend, where it's not that serious. It's not like the best show of all time. Like Netflix, it's not the best show of all time, but it's also far from middling. As in, this is Bad Sisters, but I'm talking about. Like it's very
Mm,
fun, but it also deals with some heavy topics, and it's very well made, and all the acting is good.
fantastic writing.
Yeah, but like,
I think what
go ahead.
differentiates it from like that Netflix show is that the characters are drawn out so well.
Hmm.
And again, it's the sisters. Like, as much as
Mhm.
that you're worried about John Paul not being there, I think you might be fine because you might realize that actually it is the
There's more
sisters
depth.
kind
We'll
of
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
holding it,
Yeah,
holding the show up, and you really believe that they're sisters, which is often
Hmm.
not the case for most
yeah.
shows.
Yeah.
Also, I think John Paul, as much of a villain he's a very believable character. You can believe a man doing
I will
things
be
that John
that
Paul
Hmm.
has
terrible.
done.
Yeah.
So there is a sense of realism to
Yeah.
the show, amidst all of the farcical things, like them trying to kill a man like 19 times in absurd ways.
It's just the writing
Makes
is impeccable. The writing is it's so well done. The way they, like you said, the characters and the way they balance all these serious elements with like the farce elements and the realistic and all of
Hmm.
that stuff. So yeah. Okay. Any final thing before you guys get into the season?
I just remembered one thing that killed me.
Go ahead.
Tell us.
It was when Matt got the text that they're digging up the body, right? And Becca was trying to pretend like she hadn't just looked at his phone, and he looked at the phone and he looks at her.
And then he goes back home and he's like, Becca knows, by the way. It's like,
Literally, I say it killed me because I'm
I
like,
like
she saw him looking at the phone tomorrow. She's like, everything all right? He's like, yeah. They were both choosing to live in delusion at that moment, so they could
yeah.
go do their own thing.
I
And I
No,
just
really
loved
could
it.
not take them
that's
seriously the
that's
entire
true.
time.
You know what? I hope Ayisha, I hope Matt is back this season. I hope Matt is in every episode. I hope they're like
That
a
has to
full-on
be here.
relationship.
After he's
Just,
covered up
just for
mother
Ayisha. Just for Ayisha.
at the expense
I
of
hope he's
his
there.
family's business. It
Um,
has to be Rebecca.
I don't
As
want to
his
see
wife
people
now.
happy. I like to see
Jesus Christ.
people.
And on that note,
I want to see you ever happy. You give us some joy. Give us some joy.
oh yeah, Angel, you're about to realize the depths of despair within Ayisha. She doesn't like joy. She doesn't like comedy.
No.
So good luck with that.
Anyway, please make
but
Eva happy. I know the show is already finished.
this was fun. I'll see you guys in a few weeks.
You like start to, enjoy
Maybe tolerate.
it. Please.
No, I joke. But yeah, no, Ayisha Angel, thank you very much. I will hand over this coverage to you guys, and I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks for episodes 3 and 4.
Exactly. We'll be
my God,
here.
I'm so excited.
Covering.
Happy to be back.
I'll take over. Taking over the ship as women should do,
Yes, Captain.
Kick them off. Kick the men off. No men allowed.
Well, when is this coming out? Oh, this is coming out like days before the US election. That could be incredible.
Oh my God, that's actually true.
Hopefully this is in theme with handing over power to women. Hopefully.
So
I'm really
funny.
nervous. I hope so. Yeah.
I compared John Paul to Trump.
Good.
No, that's so rude. That's so rude to John Paul, please.
Yeah, I compared John Paul to Trump.
I feel like he's much smarter.
Definitely, sure, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd take any John Paul comparison. Fuck him.
Like, he's just terrible.
And fuck the other guys.
I think of the worst people I can think of, just outlandish
I'm going to look for a compilation on YouTube of John Paul scenes and just
of his worst moments. Like, he's actually terrible. He's terrible. But so funny.
The problem with men is that they're bystanders without realizing because they do things like this. You're talking about it being so bad, yet you're here admiring his behavior.
I'm admiring the
writing.
writing.
You can never win with a man. You can never.
I'm admiring the writing. It says the person that wants men to be like. Anyway, apparently we're back to being aggressive. And anyways, let's end this here, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Ayisha Angel, thank you very much. Please watch Bad Sisters if somehow you listen to this and you don't watch the show. But if you do, please share this podcast with people and please get more people to watch Bad Sisters. Yeah, I'll talk about it all season long, all the way to Christmas Day, December 25th. So yeah. Thank you very much.
All the way to Christmas.
And join us next week when I'll be joined by Oscar winner Daniel Kaluuya. Bye, guys.
See you there. Bye.
Bye.